Oh, good evening and welcome to Willow Lodge. What an exciting evening. And some of you, I know you've been through this process before, and I tried to ring the changes in my presentation this evening for those. But for others, it's that fantastic next step on your towards your child's first day at school. My children now, gosh, my youngest is 16, so it's been a while since it's been that first day nerves, that first day at school, but I do still remember the excitement as a parent coming to this evening and finding out everything that's going to happen for your children. So I do hope that this is the first day and the first evening and at the beginning of a very long and happy partnership with Kings, and you're all very, very welcome. This evening is all about you meeting the team once again, possibly being with new and familiar faces. And your children have already started to explore Willow Lodge. They've started to get to know their classmates and meet their teachers. And we aim to instill in each visit lots of smiles and lots of fun, and that's exactly what we see on a daily basis in Willow Lodge. After my presentation this evening, there'll be an opportunity for you to have some refreshments and to meet the team in more detail. I was told by Mr. Mannix not to press the screen, and I just did. So, as you can see, we have carefully planned and prepared Willow Lodge to make it this unique learning environment, and it's particularly well suited to foster learning in the youngest children. And tonight you'll see those spaces once again, how they work, how the classrooms and breakout spaces lead to our outdoor environment, which is that natural extension of the indoor learning areas. And this carefully designed school allows each child, as we state in our vision, to have the best possible start to their school life. However, we love our beautiful building, but it's the people inside that count. So let me introduce you to the team. So our management team in Willow Lodge comprises of myself as the head. I'm head of Willow Lodge and the juniors, but also my deputy head, Mrs. Jan Callahan. So there she is. And my Director of Studies, Miss Katie Johnson. Our headmaster, Mr. Hartley, is a frequent visitor to Willow Lodge. He can take our assemblies, and he loves popping into the classrooms from time to time and getting involved in our lessons. Your name badge tonight corresponds with you have a coloured sticker, I think, on your badge, and these correspond with your child's class. So to continue the woodland riverbank theme, each class has been named after British birds found in the natural habitat. So our early years foundation stage team, which is a very big name for our reception year, is divided into two classes. And we have in Ren's class, the teacher is Mrs. Stevenson. Thank you very much. And she is ably assisted by her teaching assistant, Miss Esther Takash. Mrs. Stevenson is also our head of early years. In Robbins, we have Mrs. Callahan. I'm keeping her busy tonight by standing up and down. And assisting her is her teaching assistant, Mrs. Sarah Talbot. In Infant 1, once again, we have two classes. In Wagtails, that's led by Mrs. Hannah George and assisted by Mrs. Claire Shine. And Woodpeckers is led by Mrs. Kirsty Williams, and she's ably assisted by Mrs. Elaine Ferrara. And then, for our oldest pupils, our Infant 2 classes, and they are Kingfishers, led by Miss Johnson and assisted by Miss Alison Nichols. And then we also have Nightingales, which is led by Miss Jane Hartley, and she is assisted by Miss Sarah Mallon. We have, of course, other teachers here. So you can see we also have Mrs. Naomi Moffat. She's also a junior school teacher, and she teaches humanities in Infant 2. And we also have Mrs. Melanie O'Leary, who's our music specialist. She also teaches music in the junior school. So there's a lovely transitional link there. And then, as part of our languages provision in Willow Lodge, we teach French and Spanish. And Mr. Danny Ortiz teaches Spanish. He's also head of brass in the music school, so he's a multi-talented man. And I teach the French throughout the school. And then the most sun-kissed member of our team is Mrs. Cameron, Mrs. Fran Cameron, and she's our PE specialist teacher. She's actually She's actually hurt her back in the gym, so she's not. So she's hobbling a little bit this evening. So she's here this evening if you want to ask any questions about what happens in PE and games and swimming. Mrs. Talbot's also a busy lady. She's our Larks and Owls supervisor as well. You do have to stand up again. And she's got members of her team, Kim and Jenna at the back, and please do go and speak to them about our Larks and Owls provision, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We also have some of our KSPA members here, some current mums. Please do speak to them, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about the KSPA. And we also have our uniform staff. I'll talk a little bit more about them later. And also we're joined this evening by Mrs. Rachel Aldridge. Now, she's a geography teacher in the senior school, and she's taken over and led our whole school sustainability initiative. More of that later. We also have our learning support team in Willow Lodge. And that's led by Mrs. Sarah Glass. And group support, and that's for small group work for certain individuals that need a little bit of consolidation, and that's led by Mrs. Natalie Cottle. Now, the lady that you'll get to know the most, she's not here this evening, but I'm sure you've already met her, is Tina Harwood. She's our receptionist. She really is the fountain of all knowledge, and she can answer any query that you may have on a day-to-day basis. And if she doesn't know, she'll go away and find out for you. Ooh. So, what does a typical day in Willow Lodge look like? So every morning we enter the school through the side gate, which is just to the back of this hall, and that is opened at 8:15, and that leads directly onto the playground where the children and parents wait. We also offer a wave and go zone, so it's either myself or Mrs. Callahan who's out there helping the children out of the cars, and that helps you to drop your children off quickly and leave the site promptly if you've got other places to go to. And then we take the children onto the playground where there's an additional 2 members of staff who will look after the children until the doors open. The doors open at 8:30, and between 8:30 and 8:50, the classrooms are busy spaces. It's where we put early morning activities out for the children to settle into the day. It's an opportunity for parents maybe to have a quick chat with the teacher if required. We do ask that all children are in school by 8:50 for registration. And that's when the formal start of the day is. If we do have any late arrivals, please do sign in with Tina at the main reception. Our breaks and our lunch times are supervised by the Willow Lodge staff. That allows us to have that continuity of care by adults who know the children really well. And then the routine for the end of the day is similar to the morning. We open the side gates once again for parents to enter onto the playground and wait for the children to be released at 3:15. We really do strongly recommend a swift departure from the school site before junior school and senior school days end. And that's why we also have a wave and go zone at the end of the day. And that's a bookable system. So you can just book on through Tina in reception, and then we will bring the children out to you. The side gate we then lock at 3:30, and that allows us to use our playground for our after-school clubs. And our clubs run until 4:15, after which, if you wish, there is our Owls Club, which I will talk about in a bit. The clubs that we run, we're really, really proud of. We make sure we're continuously changing and reassessing and refreshing them. There are some clubs that are very, very popular, and we run them throughout the year, like ballet, football are 2 that I can think of. But then others, we might decide to run something slightly different, like Puppet Club, or we might have our iPad Club, that's another popular one, or Lego Club, etc. The clubs that we run as a staff are free of charge. If we bring in external agencies, then there is a small charge for these. For reception children, we deliberately keep the offer of after-school clubs in the first term to a minimum. This allows the children to settle into the school day without becoming overtired. And details of all the clubs that are on offer in the Michaelmas term, which is our name for the autumn term, will be sent to you by email in July with details of how to book on. If your child is ill, we request, please don't send them into school, because we'll simply just ring you up and send them back again. And that's to prevent the spread of illness. There's an absence line, and that's detailed in the booklet that you have been given, to advise the school of the absence. It's at this point that I have a serious point to the evening, and we do have a zero tolerance when it comes to taking unauthorised absences, and that includes holidays in the school term. We advertise our school dates 2 years in advance, and that's on our website. So we would ask that you keep your family holidays to within school holiday time. This prevents the children from missing those valuable learning experiences, and in fact, it's the children who get quite stressed if they think they're missing out. So please do make sure that you've become familiar with the school dates. Please don't worry, though, if your child does become poorly during the school day. All our staff are first aid trained, and we can attend to the usual bumps and scrapes of a normal day. But we also have our school nurse, Sister Laura Jones, on site, and she is a regular visitor to Willow Lodge. And she comes for more involved cases. But if you have any concerns or worries, please do not hesitate to contact us, because your first point of contact is the class teacher, and their email addresses will be in the booklets. But you can also email me or leave a note at reception or a note in the homework diary or telephone Tina in the office. So there's lots of opportunity for you to get in touch with us. So let me talk to you a little bit more about each class. Reception, which is the simple name for the Early Years Foundation Stage, or EYFS for short, is a continuation of the progress your children have made in nursery or playgroup. You will receive your child's learning journey at the end of their playgroup or nursery time, and we'd ask you that you hand that to your child's teacher in September. Then we make notes of the child's progress, and then we return it to you. And this allows us to seamlessly continue each child's learning through what we call the early learning goals. Please don't worry if your child hasn't been at nursery but has been cared for at home, because the teachers are very experienced at assessing each child's individual prior learning. Reception children, and this is really, really important, they continue to learn through play. They interact with each other as the teacher or the teaching assistant facilitate the learning opportunities. Reading, writing, and number work are gently introduced. As the year progresses, more structured teacher-led learning opportunities are experienced, and that allows the children to prepare for moving into Key Stage 1. We have 2 Forest Schools trained practitioners on the team, and they lead our Forest School sessions in our own woodland area. There'll be lots of opportunities to go outside, put on the wellies and the waterproofs and have some fun. Maybe building dens, going on bug hunts, toasting marshmallows, or getting really muddy in the mud kitchen, whilst exploring their outdoor environment. Our Forest Schools is a wonderful space. It allows the children to see at firsthand the changing seasons, and it really does immerse themselves in nature. We also might take them outside for storytelling opportunities. And the children also learn how to use the Forest School's tools and equipment safely, building confidence and teamwork as they go. Forest School sessions continue for Infant 1 and 2 children too. And the children, as I said, are also taught French and Spanish. The transition from early years into Key Stage 1, which is the name for the Infant 1 and Infant 2 children, the 2 years that they're there, that's very, very carefully planned. Some children might continue with their early learning goals into the first term of Infant 1. Others move on to the Key Stage 1 national curriculum. We ensure that each child works at their own pace that's right for them, and they move on when it's right for them and they're ready to progress. In Infant 1 and Infant 2, a little bit more formalised teaching is introduced, while still having plenty of opportunity for hands-on interactive play. And if you were to walk into an Infant 1 or 2 class, it would be filled with this activity. There would be lots of talk around their learning. There would be lots of apparatus and equipment to assist and develop their understanding. And you will see a very text-rich environment. While the majority of subjects continue to be taught by the class teacher, we do have our specialist teachers for PE, swimming, music and languages. And Forest Schools is also offered as an enrichment club. So we aim to prepare your child for that seamless transition into the junior school. They will enjoy learning and want to learn more. They will have made good friends to take with them, but will also have the confidence to make new friends at the next stage of their education. They will have bright, inquiring minds and be up for the challenge. It's crucially important that we create a collaborative relationship with you in order that we can work together with your child's best interests at heart. And we are often asked by parents how they can support their child's learning at home. I'm a passionate believer in promoting reading at home. And this isn't just listening to a child read or racing through the book bans, and you'll find out what book bans are, at a rate of knots. It's just living in that text-rich environment and modelling good reading ourselves. So let your child see you reading a book or a newspaper. Share books with your child. Visit that local library for storytelling events and read a lovely story at bedtime. By encouraging your child to develop positive reading habits, you prepare for success later. All good writers are avid readers. Through books, they gain a rich vocabulary, they learn new experiences, and develop that imagination that they couldn't have in a day-to-day living. But also, talking is important. So talk about your child's day and also what's happened to you during your day. And that develops their social and communication skills. Also, encourage independence in dressing or putting the toys away themselves. That will really help them at school. Our children are dab hands at tidying up themselves, especially when the tidy up music comes on. It's like a light bulb switches on and they can tidy for Britain. But there are countless opportunities also when you're out and about to have shared experiences, but also to talk about something like maths in the environment. That could be counting the certain coloured cars. It could be looking for different shape signs, or it would be simple counting in a supermarket. The list goes on. Children receive a very small amount of homework, and I use the word homework really carefully. And this comprises, first of all, actually reading isn't homework. We assume and hope that you will read with your children every day. But also we introduce spelling in Infant 1, and also a small English or maths activity. We have a homework diary, and that's where you can let us know how your child is coping with the homework activities. And in the words of Goldilocks, is it too much, too little, or just right? Please do let us know, because we can adapt it to suit. Now, this is the important bits and pieces that parents say, well, what comes in and what do we leave at home? So these are the items that stay on your child's peg. Please ensure that everything is named clearly. That's the first time I'll say that. I'll say it a few more times this evening. Reception children, they come into school in their PE kit on 3 days a week for the first half of the year. And that's so that during our PE lessons we can get some activity done rather than a dressing and undressing activity. You'll be informed of that timetable in September, but please keep this in mind when initially purchasing uniform items. These are the items that come to school, come home each day. Your information booklet will give you further guidance on our healthy snack policy. But please, could you only give your child a carbohydrate-based snack, such as a small sandwich or breadsticks or a piece of fruit? Some children come in with a monumental snack, and they just can't get through it, and it's a waste of food for you as well. But we do offer the opportunity, especially in reception, for the children to have their snack when they get hungry. Rolling snack policy. But please, can I ask you, please do not include any nuts. We're a nut-free school. And crisps, chocolate, or sweet biscuits also, could they please be left at home? Children also, could they bring a water bottle that's named, and that can be filled up when empty, because we have water fountains throughout the school. And the swimming kit comes in once a week, not every day, and goes home on the same day, hopefully. There are many ways for you to keep in touch with us and for us to keep in touch with you about events. Each teacher sends home a weekly newsletter on a Friday, and that's telling you what the class has been up to and what's coming up and what is planned for the next week ahead. We also have the infant section on the calendar, on the parent portal, and you can see there what's planned for the year. And the website is updated with our regular infant news. You'll also be able to keep updated on the move but via our Twitter feed and our What's On emails. And we also have plenty of events throughout the school, such as cathedral services and concerts, and you can book those via our What's On. Also, events throughout the school are open to all parents, so please do, if you fancy coming along to a senior school recital or a senior school performance, I highly recommend them. They are of a superb quality. Should you wish to discuss your child's progress, and the first port of call is your class teacher, either by a quick chat at the beginning or the end of the day, via a note in the reading diary, or asking for a meeting via email, because you will all have your child's teacher's email. We provide 2 written reports, and these are available via Parent Portal. On our parents' evenings, we have them in the Michaelmas and the summer term, and we operate an online booking system for these. Additionally, we hold a Meet the Teacher evening early in the Michaelmas term, and that's when we tell you about the curriculum, and you can chat informally with your class teacher. And we also have drop-in book share sessions with your child to share for your child to share their work with you, and they happen just before our parents' evening. So we've got our book sharing sessions happening this week. As your child enters Infant 2, they're the Kingfisher and Nightingales classes, that's when we prepare them for that transition into the junior school, with plentiful opportunities for them to meet the junior school staff and the pupils and familiarise themselves with the buildings. Each child has a J1 buddy to meet up with regularly and talk about what the junior school is like. And junior school teachers and the Infant 2 staff talk in depth about each individual child, so the child is already known before they enter the junior school. The older J4 pupils, once the children have joined the juniors, are their buddies as well, and they really look after the children in those first few weeks. So a little bit more about Larks and Owls. We have a club in Larks and Owls that's run exclusively for Willow Lodge, and that takes place in our activities room here in Willow Lodge. The ladies at the back of the hall can tell you all about our online booking system, and details of the charges are in your handbook. Members of the Larks and Owls team are here tonight to answer any questions. So you can see that Larks is the name of our before school club that runs from 7:45 in the morning until 8:30 when the classroom's open. And then from 3:15 in the evening is our Owls club that runs until 6 o'clock. So please do have a chat with any members of the team if you wish to find out a little bit more about that service. The uniform. And boy, do they look cute on their first day of school. The amount of times that parents come in with a little tear in their eye because they've taken the photo of their child on the first day. But your booklet has full details of the Willow Lodge uniform. All of that is available. The uniform is available at our on-site uniform shop, and the ladies from the uniform shop are here this evening. Please do try and make an appointment this evening with them, as it can take upwards of an hour to buy a uniform for a wriggly little body. Remember what I said, as reception children come into school on 3 days a week up to the February half term in PE kit, you might want to delay buying lots of formal uniform. You may want to buy a couple of sets of what we call the whites, which is the white PE kit, and possibly a couple of blues, which is the blue tracksuit. The blazer is optional but popular because, boy, do they look cute. But remember, the blazer is an optional extra to the Willow Lodge uniform. And you may wish to wait until they're a little bit older to buy a blazer, but we also do have a second-hand uniform sale, and that's on the 2nd of July in the junior school hall. So there could be a few little blazers coming through by now. In the summer holidays, our uniform shop relocates to the recital hall, which is just in the music school here, and that's a much bigger space for you to take your time to buy the uniform. I promised I'd mention this again, but please do name everything. Even socks, because they do come off and they do get lost. And please do name them very clearly, otherwise the dreaded lost property box gets full very quickly. Naming clothes helps us to reunite items with their owners very quickly and makes your lives and ours infinitely easier. Members of our catering team, Sodexo, are here today, and they have provided the refreshments for this evening. The lunches take place for Willow Lodge here in this hall, and they're specifically designed for younger tastes and palates. They're served by the catering staff, and members of our team make sure that the children are making healthy choices and help them with the cutting up of their food. A member of staff stands at the counter and makes sure that the children have got all of the food groups on their plate, not just lots of carbohydrates. But we also offer opportunities for parents to come in that first term and have lunch with your children. And you can then see exactly what's on offer at lunch times. We welcome feedback on how best we can cater for your child's developing taste. And if you have any dietary requirements, please do speak to the catering staff who are here this evening. We have many opportunities for you to meet each other as parents and visit the school. We hold coffee mornings at least once per term, mostly here in the Willow Lodge Hall, although we also have had a wonderful coffee morning in our new cafe in the Sports Centre. These are open to all parents throughout the school, but especially we welcome you as new parents to Willow Lodge. Of course, we have plenty of Christmas plays and summer concerts for you to enjoy, sports days, etc. The Willow Lodge children, they also visit the cathedral just on one occasion only, that's at Christmas. And that's a joint service with the junior school, and it's a wonderful festive occasion. As I mentioned, we have members of the Parents Association, the KSPA, the King's School Parents Association. They're here this evening, and they're a very active and very, very supportive organisation. They raise valuable funds for the school. They organise the social events for parents and the families. We've had our wonderful playground is as a result of the KSPA, and they keep saying, we want to give more, what else can we donate for you? So our staging is the newest part of the Willow Lodge playground. So they're here tonight to recruit new members, and please do get involved. It's a lovely way for you to meet each other and to get involved and help in the school. Now, I'm going to mention the dreaded GDPR legislation. We can no longer, I'm afraid, provide class lists. Therefore, we do encourage parents to sign up to the KSPA and sign up as being class reps, and you can do that at the KSPA table. Now, I did mention that I was going to mention about our sustainability and Mrs. Aldridge. So car parking is available exclusively for Willow Lodge, and this is clearly marked, and it's just this area just outside Willow Lodge. And there's more information about the parking scheme in your booklet. You will have a parking permit, and they're like gold dust. Everybody wants a Willow Lodge parking permit, and that allows you to come round and park here. And we deliberately keep our Willow Lodge parking here because you might have young children or buggies, and it just makes life a lot easier than having to park far, far away by the sports hall, for example. But if you do need any additional permits for other members of family who may be doing pickup, please do contact reception. I'm going to mention cycling to school now because we do have lots of cyclists, and that's why we have our own cycle shelter just here. We're really, really keen to encourage as many members of the King's community to what we call bus in, bike up, or bunch up, which is car share. And this reduces the number of cars on site, but obviously makes our school a greener environment. We hold regular cycle to school days to promote that greener form of transport. But please do speak to Mrs. Aldridge this evening about our sustainability drive. I've even been tempted to cycle myself, but I live about 15 miles away, so I might get here by midday, so not quite yet. Finally, let me tell you about your child's first day. It's on the 5th of September. It's a Thursday. It'll be a really exciting day, but also one where you will undoubtedly worry about how your child is getting on. There will be anxiety from both of you, smiles as well, nerves and the odd tear. But please reassure that these soon disappear as the children start to play because they're going into an environment that they're already familiar with. We are keeping those first 2 days short. So you can see this is reception classes only. So members of the audience who are in Infant 1 and Infant 2, sorry, they're full days. And so reception classes will be 8:30 to 1 o'clock on the Thursday and the Friday. So that's just after lunch. They'll have their lunch with us and then they'll go home. And there will be no Larks and Owls Club on that first day. So it starts on Friday the 6th of September. I really hope that the information I've provided this evening is helpful. You'll have an opportunity now to get some refreshments, have a chat, meet our Larks and Owls staff, go and sign up at the uniform desk, and meet your class teacher and the teaching assistant, and they will be in their classes. So they're positioned in the classrooms. So please do ask away any questions you may have. Mrs. Cameron's going to be strategically placed halfway down the corridor. So please do talk to her if you want to find out about swimming or what they do with PE and games. But on behalf of all the staff, thank you very much for coming this evening. I look forward to meeting you again and again at more events. So please have a wonderful evening. Thank you.